Like, as without any warning, she just took the razor and she started cutting my genitals. It's a different kind of pain. Like, you go into shock, and my body just became absolutely numb.
You know, my classmates were calling me the girl with 3 legs. They wouldn't play with me. They said I was untouchable somehow. I asked questions to my mom. Why are they calling me the girl with 3 legs? She said, well, it's time to get your gift. And I didn't understand what kind of a gift, so I thought it was the dress. Early in the morning, we stopped in this house. It was a long and dark hallway. I never forget that.
But Mummy told me no one should touch my body. So it was a conflicting messages that was going on in my head. FGM is not a cultural traditional practice, but actually it's child abuse.
I was really very angry with my mom, especially for doing this, and I just kept on questioning her. And the fact that she couldn't give me, any straight answer, she couldn't give me any evidence for it, it just made me more upset.
It is called FGM, Female Genital Mutilation. I believe it killed my girlfriend. I loved her. And then, the true reason for her death may have been covered up.
5-year-old Rita isn't a happy girl. The procedure involves the girl receiving a swift pinprick to the hood of her clitoris. It's a common traditional practice in the world's biggest Muslim majority nation, which includes the form of circumcision practiced here.
The impact of the FC is very dangerous to the woman. So that is why, from medical point of view, there's no benefit. And from religious point of view, actually it is debatable.
Female genital mutilation, or FGM, refers to any procedure that injures or partially or totally removes female external genitalia for non-medical reasons.
I had FGM when I was 7, which involves partial or total removal of the female anatomy for non-medical reasoning.
200 million girls and women across the world have undergone FGM according to UNICEF, with more than half coming from Egypt, Ethiopia, or Indonesia. But it also happens in 31 other countries. Why are we still so unequal? But here, squeezed between a pizza shop and a hair salon, is a clinic that openly broadcasts this grim secret. Imagine not knowing you were circumcised as a baby until you were a full-grown adult.
So tell me about the first time that you found out that you were cut.
I think it was at my niece's second birthday party, and then my aunt happily announced that she was cut 2 weeks ago. And so I was really, really shocked because I didn't know that sunat is something that happened to girls as well. So I was just really, really upset. And I was like, this is a WHO violation, it's a human rights violation, this is wrong. And then my sister beside me, she was like, oh, you were cut too. And I was floored, because I really did not, I did not expect that at all. I just felt very, very violated. And I felt very upset that something happened to me without my consent when I was a baby that was potentially harmful.
Grabbing my neck and pulling me back. I woke up tied to a surgical table. I remember those rough fingers pulling things, a place that no one ever touched me before, especially a man.
From a very young age, the FGM was something that was wrong. So when I say that I was a very vocal child, it wasn't something that really made me so scared I wasn't able to talk about it. It actually made me want to be able to ask more questions. I was very explicit and told my teacher at the time what had happened to me, and I can still see the look on her face because she was taken aback having this 7-year-old that was coming back into your class completely different with such a vivid explanation of this horrific act that had happened to her. I was seeking answers. So when I went to my teacher and asked her, what is this? It's like, what is this thing that happened to me? And very explicitly, talked about it. And she looked at me in complete utter shock.
I was cut for my future husband. He must have been 8, 9 years old, so it's a child telling another child what's about to happen to them. She started to explain what it was, and I'm sitting here thinking, but as she's explaining this, I could hear a scream coming down from the other side of the house, like screaming. It was my sister. It was like an out-of-body experience. Before I could even do or think anything, it was like, get Layla. Get Layla's turn. And I mean, I ran off. Obviously, I'm 7 years old. There's only so much running I can do. So they grabbed me, pinned me on this table. Women who held me down, these were aunties, family members, you know, family friends. Before I knew it, I was screaming and I could feel my flesh being cut off. But I just remember him saying, you're being naughty, you know, you just behave yourself, you know, it doesn't hurt. And I blacked out from that moment. So had FGM done, was home for 2 weeks recovering. The weekend after, we were back at the beach. Life was normal again. That's just the way it was. Once you undergo something like this, there's no way back. There's no way back from this. My mother wasn't just cut once, she was cut twice because a neighbour thought not enough flesh was taken away. And for me, when we talk about FGM, there's so much focus on the type and what happened. What we need to focus on is this idea that we can just go and examine children's genitals. What I experienced was actually one of the worst forms of abuse. The doctor that cut me would never be seen as a paedophile because he's checking my genitals under the label of a doctor. People giving me any reasons, they would say, it's their religion, it's their culture. I mean, none of the holy books mention it. It's practiced amongst all religions, but none of the books mention it. However, fundamentally, FGM, it's there to control women and girls' bodies, especially their sexuality. I mean, every 11 seconds, a girl is being cut. So the fact that we're not outraged, it's absolutely crazy to me. The world hasn't tackled FGM because majority affects black children. There will be an outrage if this was white girls. I mean, look what's happening in Hollywood. It's great that we're now naming and shaming sexual harassers and abusers. But black women have been doing that for a while, but no one listened. You know, we can't say every child matters and then pick and choose the ones that matter. I 100% wholeheartedly believe FGM will end, but the only way that's going to end is we need to end all forms of oppression against human beings.